So, we've been talking about discounting like an inheritance or something like that. Discounting a treasury bond or T-bill. Let's take a look at the big application, the big concept of simple interest, which is discounting a note. Now, the note we're talking about here is a simple interest-bearing note. For example, let's say that Debbie has a business. And Debbie buys merchandise. Well, just hang in there. Impatient. We got Patience Panda down there. Yeah, it's called Debbie's Business. Now, if you allow us to continue, we'd like to get out of Debbie's business and back into math. So Debbie purchases, say, $7,800 worth of supplies for me. Supplies, grades, whatever you want to call them. So the terms of sale, let's say she had a 210, net 30. What's that mean? Sure. She pays within 10 days, she gets a 2% discount. Guess what? She didn't get the discount. She must pay by the end of 30 days. Well, as you guys have experienced tonight, Debbie's not about to pay. So at the end of 30 days, what happens at the end of 30 days if she can't pay? Interest. Well, I can either do one of a few things. I can try to repossess whatever it is she purchased, but if it's stuff she's going to sell, obviously she probably doesn't have most of it anymore. I can take her to court, file a claim against her, or I can try to work with her so that I have a chance of claiming the money without having to incur legal expenses. Or I can send Casey to go break her legs, but we want to avoid that. You stay out of this. You're not a part of this. So anyway, I want to try to work with her and help her pay me back. So I'm going to give her more credit. But I'm not going to give it to her for free anymore like I did in that first 30 days. I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you another 120 days. But during that 120 days, I am going to charge you 8% interest. So what this means is at the end of the 120 days, she's going to have to pay me back the $7,800 plus interest. So first we got to find out what that interest is on $7,800 at 8%, so 0.08, for 120 days. That gives us interest of $208. So over that 120 days, $208 builds up. So the maturity value is going to be the $7,800, the original amount, plus $208, which is $8,008. So at the end of 120 days, she no longer owes me $7,800 anymore. She owes me $8,008. Well, let's say that at day 91, something comes up. I need money. I need it quick, soon. I can't wait another 29 days for the 120 days to be up. I need money now to do something, whether I have an investment opportunity or bail money or whatever. I need money. So anyway, I can go to Debbie and say, hey, you know what? I'll give you a break on your interest if you pay me back right now. And obviously you've seen from her answers earlier tonight, she's going to say no. So the only other option I really have, other than sending Casey out again, is to go to a bank and say, What can I do? And what they're going to do is they're going to offer to discount the note. So this note is going to be discounted to a bank. So the bank is going to look at two things to figure out, well, three things really, to figure out the terms of this note. The first thing they're going to set is they're going to set a discount rate. Now, most people think that the discount rate's always going to be higher than the original rate you were charging on the note. Not necessarily. I mean, a lot of times on a business note like this, they charge a ridiculously large interest rate just because it's easy to divide it up by a month. 6% or 12% is really easy to divide up by months. So a lot of times they'll charge one of those higher. 12% is a very standard interest rate to charge because it comes up to 1% per month. So it's really easy to invoice for. Well, let's see that in this case, the bank's discount rate is 9%. So that's one of the first things that they're going to determine, or the first parts of the terms of this discount. The second they're going to determine is the discount period. The discount period is the amount of time that the bank is going to hold the note. In other words, the time that the bank is going to wait to get paid back for their money. Now, if Debbie's paying them back, that might be a while. But, sorry, Debbie. So anyway, theoretically, how long would the bank have to wait for the 120 days to be up? Well, 120-day loan minus 91 is 29 days. That is the discount period. The third thing they need is the principal. The principal of the discount is the maturity value of the original note. So to figure out the bank's discount, we use the maturity value. Our principal is going to be the maturity value, $8,008. For the rate, they're going to use the discount rate, which is the 9%, so 0.09. And the time is the discount period, so 29 over 360. So we have 8,008 times 0.09 times 29 divided by 360. Gives us $58 and, how would we round that, Casey? 6 cents. Very good. That's the bank discount. That's how much the bank is going to charge you to wait 29 days for the money. So the next thing is your proceeds. The proceeds is what the bank pays you. So what you just did is you sold your rights to collect this note to the bank. Or the more accurate way of thinking it is you took out a loan, a discount loan, based on this note. What you do sign over the rights to the bank. The bank will collect this from Debbie directly. So the proceeds are the $8,008, which would be the maturity value of the original note. Then the bank is going to subtract their discount, which would be $7,949.84. Correct? That's what the bank gives you. Now here's the catch. In this situation, it creates something called a third party, or sometimes called a contingent liability. Any guess as to what that means? Now, what it means is the bank has no contract with Debbie. They have never talked to Debbie. Debbie's never agreed to anything with them. Their contract is with me. Guess what happens at day 120 if Debbie says, I don't want to pay? Do you think the bank's going to struggle with Debbie to get the money? No. The bank's going to come back to me and say, hey, cough it up. And I have to, because their contract is with me. So I am responsible for making sure that that loan is paid off. They're still going to contact Debbie and try to collect it for me. That's part of their $58 fee, is they're going to collect it for me. But if it's not easy, they're not going to spend a lot of money and time doing it. They're just going to come to me and say, hey, cough it up. Or let's say Debbie pays it a couple days late. I have to pay the penalties or fees or whatever on that late fee. Yeah, you would. So, anyway. Well, give me a few minutes. We'll try to make it worse. On March 17th, this is a new problem. New problem. Same concept, new problem. On March 17th, by the way, you might want to look on page 396 to find that table of days. It's going to be useful. Pete extends a note for $8,200 at 7.8% interest for 90 days. On April 21st, Pete discounts the note to the bank at 8.5%. Find the bank's discount and the proceeds. Okay, so now let's do this. And this is typically the form you'll see it in. The first example, I didn't use dates. I just said 120 days and whatever to simplify it just a little bit. But this is typically how you will see this, is you will see calendar dates listed. And you'll have to use that table to figure out your times. So we'll chart it out. Day 1 is March 17th. Actually, technically that's day 0, I suppose I should say. It's March 17th. And on that day is when the loan began. The whole original note began. Step 1 is to find the maturity value of the original note. This is a 2-step process in itself. What is the first part of that? Nope. Finding the interest. The original note does not depend on March and April. The original note depends on the 90 days. 0.78, yep. Times. Perfect. So it's the original note's principal, $8,200, times the interest rate on the original note, 7.8% becomes 0.078, times 90 over 360. The original term, the original dates, or the length of the note. You don't have to worry about the April and the March dates yet. It's just the original 90 days was what the terms of the original note was. So we're going to punch that in 8,200 times 0.078 times 90 over 360 gives us $159.90. Is that what you guys get? $159.90. So the maturity value, $82 plus $159.90 equals $8,359.90. That's maturity value. Questions so far? Is this making more sense yet, Debbie? Okay. Yeah, I just added here. Principal plus interest. 8,200 was the original principal. 159.90 was the interest. No. Remember, we're not discounting it. This is still the original note. There was an interest-bearing note. The first part of these is always an interest-bearing note. So you're adding to the principal. The second part where you're selling it to the bank, that's when it's a discounted portion. I know it's confusing. You're going one direction and then you're going back the other, and where do you end up? You're married, you should understand that process. Forward, back. Such is life, right? So, step 2 is to find the discount period. Now, the last one I did where I just said, day 91 and 120 days, that was fairly easy. 120 days minus day 91. These are a lot easier for people to screw up. We're going to start out with the calendar, the list, the day list in your book. We have March 17th and April 21st. March 17th is what? 76. April 21st? 111. So you subtract it, you get 35 days. About half of you will screw up and put that down as the discount period. Why is it not the discount period? There you go. The discount period is the time that the bank is going to hold the note. 35 days is the time that you held the note. The only reason we need that number is so we can find out how many days are left. 90 minus 35 is 55 days. That is the discount period. That's how long the bank is going to have to hold this note before they collect their money. Bank doesn't care how long we've had it. They care how long they're going to have to wait. It's their time that they want to charge for. So then, step 3 is to find the bank's discount. The bank's discount. Interest based off of that maturity value, $83.59.90. Everybody understand where the $83.59.90 comes from? That is what this note will be worth at the time the bank gets to collect it, or the maturity value of the original note. What was the bank's discount rate? 8.5, so 0.085. How many days do they have it? 55. So 8359.9 times 0.085 times 55 divided by 360. 108.56. Very good. $108.56. Does this one get added or subtracted by that? That is the discount, by the way. Yes, in step 4, we're going to find the bank's, or your proceeds. The way that is found is you take the maturity value of the original note, $8,359.90, and you will subtract that discount of $108.56, which is going to give you $8,251.34. Basically, it wipes out any of your profits on the interest of that note. But you get your money 55 days sooner. Questions? How you feeling, Debbie? Any better or still confused? Or okay. See, I can be nice for 5 minutes. 4.5, whatever. I'm going to have you guys try one in your seats. On November 28th, Tim extends a Oh, let's see, extends a 6.4%, 180-day note for $5,300. On January 30th, he discounts the note to a bank at a discount rate of 7.9%. Find the bank's discount and Timmy's proceeds. I'm going to pause this. Tell me what to do. Step 1. Interest. Okay, so the maturity value. Oops, here it is. Okay, so let's continue with that. Sorry about the interruption. Debbie says we can continue. So the interest is? Is that better? Okay. So 5,300 times 0.064 times 180 over 360. Okay, so 5,300 times 0.064 times 180 over 360. 169.60 for interest. Which means we got a maturity value. I'm going to add this in my head to 5469.60, correct? Comments, complaints, arguments. Step 2, discount period. So what do we do for the discount period? What's that? So November 20th is 332. January 30th is 30. But remember, if it ever goes from 1 year into the next, we've got to do this in a split way. So 365 minus 332 gives us 33 days there. Plus that's how many days it went from December or from November whatever until the end of the year. Plus the 30 into the next year is 63 total days. Is that the day we want? The number? No. That's how long we held the note, or Tim in this case held the note. The bank is concerned about how many days are left. So 180 minus 63 is 117 days is the discount period. How many of you got that? No? Okay. That's a common mistake. Generally, the first mistake, the most common mistake in these problems is calculating the discount period. Biggest mistake, a lot of people go 63. Yeah. So I'm going to put a star there right now. Maybe 2 even. In your notes, maybe put a star or a note there that's something to review and make sure you don't miss. Because like I said, usually about half the class gets those wrong because they just stuck with the 63 instead of subtracting from the length of the term of the note. So now what is step 3? The discount. So that is going to be the maturity value of 5469.60 times bank's discount rate is 7.9%, so 0.079 times 17 over 360. Good. So 5469.60 times 0.079 times 117 over 360 gives us 140.43. And then, that's the bank's discount, by the way. Subtract his proceeds. 84.69.60 minus 140.43 gives us $5,329.17 is his proceeds. What do you guys think? Ready to go do that on your own? Okay. There's a quiz due tomorrow, otherwise known as Wednesday, at 11:59 p.m. Homework due next Tuesday. Just so you guys are aware, if there are any problems with the quiz, if it's before 2 o'clock tomorrow, I can help you with it after 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'm going to be indisposed until Saturday, basically. So if there are problems with the quiz, you can send me an email. I'm just warning you, I won't get your email till Saturday. So please be patient. I will fix it and do whatever I need to extend it for you if I have to. But just don't be disappointed if you don't get an answer for me for a few days.